Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I am bringing you another extreme makeover. This time I am taking an old dining table, completely revamping it. You will not believe this one when we are done with it. So if you want to see this makeover, just keep watching. Here is the dining table I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be working on this off-site at my friend and colleague Maggie's house. Maggie helps me out on the Pretty Distressed team, and she's such an asset, helps me get so much stuff done and keeps me organized. So this is her grandma's table. It's very sentimental to her, but she does not like the style of it. So we are going to be removing the glass inlay, taking all this framework out and creating planking on it. This idea is inspired by something I saw Bree from Bree Purpose do a couple years ago when she redid a table with a mirror inlay. So go check out Bree. She's amazing DIYer. So our frame was really thin and we weren't going to be able to plank on top of it. There's just not planks that are that thin. So we're having to take out all this framework and we're going to create our own frame inside of there. We tried this several different ways. We enlisted the help of our husbands for this too because they love using power tools. I bought a jig and the jig just was not powerful enough to get through the frame here. So we did a couple of different things. My husband created a guide and then he used his circular saw, and then they also used the reciprocating saw to get the corners out a little bit. Let's take a quick break from this build so I can share with you about today's sponsor. Jolie is my sponsor of today's video, and I'm going to be using their paint to make over this table. I want to tell you a little bit about the year of Jolie that they are currently running. They are working their way through the house, choosing a different room each month. They have tons of inspiration and even some really cool project planners that you can download on their website for free. And they're also doing a monthly giveaway. When you hashtag your project's Year of Jolie, you're going to be entered to win some goodies from their website. And the month of February is dining room. So they have tons of inspiration on different projects for your dining room, how to choose your colors, and that is why I will be working on this dining room table today. Okay, back to the build. We used some 1x2s to create our new frame and attach that to the table with some wood screws. I'll leave all the specific links to the wood that we use down in the description box, so check that out. And for the planking that's going to go across here, I selected some tongue and groove boards that are ceiling boards, and that way when we put these together, we're not going to see any gaps on the table. And of course I had to be pretty extra and couldn't make this simple. I wanted diagonals on these big squares, so they had to cut the boards down to size, mark where to cut them, and then use the miter saw to make the angled cuts. And then on the opposite side, I wanted the diagonal running the other way. So they had to measure and mark each board individually and then cut them. It was a lot of work, but it's really pretty. Once they got everything in place, they took a mallet and a 2x4 and just hammered everything down in so it would be as flush with the table as we could get it. Once they had all the planks in place, they flipped it over and used wood screws to attach it to the table and the frame that we created. After we got done with the big table, there were 2 more leaves to do, but lucky for my husband, I decided that I wanted a horizontal pattern on those, so those were a lot easier to knock out. I do want to note, obviously we are not professional woodworkers. This is definitely a DIY, so please don't come for us in the comments. All right, now that the build is done, I'm just going to fill all the gaps in the planks with this wood filler that is stainable. I really like this one because it matches this wood really closely, and I know the paint's going to absorb in the same way when I go to stain it. So I'm just filling all those cracks around the table, and if there are any big gaps in the planks, I filled those too. Since some of these gaps were really large, I let this dry overnight before I sanded it. So I'm using my Festool Rotex 90 with my dust extractor so that we're not getting dust all over Maggie's house. I'm using it in orbital mode with a 120 grit sandpaper. And after I clean up all this wood filler, I'm gonna go and sand all the planks so that they're nice and smooth and ready to absorb my faux paint stain that I'm gonna do. Before I start staining with my paint wash, I'm just going to wipe off any dust or debris I have on my top. The wood filler does a great job of making the planks look nice and even. So I'm going to create a two-tone finish with this, and I'm going to start using Farmhouse Beige as a faux stain. You guys have seen me do this on my channel so often lately. It is like my favorite way to stain wood now. I don't know if I'll ever use a traditional stain again. So I'm taking this beautiful natural beigey color, and I'm going to add 1 part water, 1 part paint, and mix it up really well. And this is going to make a really watery solution that I'm going to use as a faux stain. I'm going to use my Jolie Natural Bristle brush, the large one, to apply this faux stain with my paint wash because these brushes absorb a lot of paint. And I'm going to start by taking water first and covering my whole area that I'm going to stain with water. I just started doing this recently, and I find that it acts like a pre-stain basically and helps your boards absorb the paint wash more evenly. To do the wash, I'm going to take the same brush, load it up with my paint mixture that I have, and just brush these on in the direction of the boards, in the direction of the grain, and make sure I'm getting it into all the cracks and crevices as well as the wood filler. Once I get all the paint on the section I'm working on, I grab a lint-free cloth that is very absorbent, put on some gloves, and wipe it back and forth in the direction of the grain to remove any excess paint that hasn't absorbed into the boards. I'm not worried about getting that excess paint on my frame right now because I am going to be painting that white, so it's just going to give me a good base for that. I repeated the same process on the rest of the boards on the table and just worked in sections. Now I'm going to prep the frame for it to be painted white. So I'm going to grab my Jolie sanding pads. The light gray one is the fine one, which is around a 220 grit. And I'm going to lightly scuff my surface because my frame is very, very shiny. It had a really thick varnish and coating on it. And if you have a slick surface like that, your paint is not going to adhere well because it doesn't have anything to grip onto. So just giving it a light scuff sand like this is going to prepare the surface for the paint to stick. Once I got everything scuff sanded, I took some warm water and some Dawn dish soap, which is going to be a grease cutting soap, and just rub that all over the frame to get any greasy fingerprints or dirt and dust and debris that might be left over. Once I was done cleaning the frame, I took some clean water and just rinsed any soap residue off. I'm going to be painting my base white, but I'm actually going to put down a base color first. This is Uptown Ecru, and it is a very light beige, and this is just going to help me not have to do coat upon coat of white. I'm going to be going for a smooth finish, so I am going to water my paint down by about 10%, and I like to mix it up in a separate container like this, and this is about the consistency that I want. I'm going to use my Jolie synthetic brush and a mister to help keep my paint really smooth. When I'm going for a smooth look, I like to just keep my brush strokes going in the same direction and watch out for those drip marks. You could also use a primer here. Any shellac based primer is going to work well with this paint. Those primers are really stinky and I didn't want to use it inside, and their cleanup is difficult, so I liked the idea of just using this color to give me a little bit of prime for my white color, and I know I can use this color down the road on other projects too. If you haven't seen me use Jolie paint on my channel before, it is very similar to the other paints that I work with. It's a furniture paint, so it can go over existing finishes like this. You just want to make sure that your surface is clean. It dries down to a beautiful matte finish, and you can get lots of different looks with this. You can do really textured looks, or you can do smooth looks like this. When I'm going for a smooth look like this, I keep that mister on hand and spray my brush and my paint pretty frequently to help alleviate any brush marks. This paint takes about an hour to dry, so once my first coat was done and dry, I came in with that fine sanding pad again just to smooth out my surface. This is very light pressure here just to smooth out and get rid of some of those brush strokes. I wanted crisp definition between my second coat and my natural wood toned planks here, so I'm just taking some delicate painter's tape by Frog Tape. I like this version because I know it's not going to mess with the paint that I adhere to my board since it's freshly painted. So for the next coat, I am going to be using the gesso white. That's going to be our color of the frame. I have watered this down the same way I did on my first coat. I love this white because it's a really neutral white. It's going to go with cool tones and warm tones, so you really can't go wrong with this one. I'm using that same synthetic brush, misting it as I go and doing long strokes and painting in the same direction to keep it smooth. My coverage was pretty good, but I do need one more coat, so I'm going to do that sanding like I did between my last two coats and then add that third coat. Once I was done with my third coat, I pulled my tape up immediately. I find you get a crisper line when you pull it up off of wet paint. I let this dry overnight, and then I'm going to come back in and sand down my boards with a 400 grit sandpaper just to make sure they're smooth before I apply the varnish. I'm not going to sand the painted portion, just the boards. To protect my piece, I'm going to be sealing it with Jolie's varnish in the low luster sheen. It also comes in gloss, and I'm going to be applying it with that same Jolie synthetic brush that I used all my paint for. This is a clear acrylic top coat, so it's milky white, but it dries down nice and flat, and there is no yellowing. I am a big fan of Jolie's wax, and you've seen me use it on a lot of videos, but since this is a dining room table and they do use it really frequently, the kids like to do their homework here and play Legos and things like that, we wanted to make this as durable as possible, and the varnish is just going to give you some more durability. Varnish is really thin, so you don't want to overload your brush. Just get a little bit of product on, brush it out, and use long strokes, and watch out for these drip marks because it is so thin. It will drip if you load up your brush too much. This was also a beautiful choice to seal this raw wood. It absorbed really well into the wood, and it was very easy to put on, and the brush strokes completely leveled out. One more tip I want to share with you about using a varnish like this. I like to get all my product on in one section like this, and I will do back and forth brushing like this just to make sure the area is all covered. And then once I have the whole section covered, I will do a long stroke all the way across it in the same direction with my brush just to get rid of any imperfections I have. This top coat has a pretty long dry time. It is 4 to 6 hours. So after my first coat was dry, I came back in with that fine sanding pad again, and I'm just giving it a light sanding before I go in with that second coat. And since there is such a long dry time between each coat, I did wash my brush out after each use. For some added protection, I wanted to put 3 coats on the top since the kids use this table almost every day with Legos and homework and stuff. So I came in, sanded that down again, got rid of my dust, and applied a 3rd coat just to the top. Okay, this was a long one, but it is so worth it. Remember, here is what we started out with, this dated table, and here it is now with a brand new life, a beautiful 2-tone finish, and it really brightens up this dining room. I'm so happy that we were able to make over a table that's been in Maggie's family for a long time, that she has a lot of fond memories sitting around this table. So it's really great that we could repurpose the same table. The memories are still there, but it has a fresh new look and just really brightens up her home. Thanks for joining me for today's video. Before you leave, check out some of my other videos. I will be back next week with another project. Thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.